All right, this is where we're going to ask ourselves how well we realize these rules now. So what they're asking me is, what is everything I know about what the graph of negative 2x squared plus 2x plus 24 will look like? And this would typically say y equals in front of this. But if we're asking ourselves what this would look like, there's a couple of things that we want to think about. What does this a value tell us? So first of all, before I even look at the number, the negative tells me that it is to open down. Or in other words, it is an upside down U shape. I also know that this is going to have an a value of -2. So not only does the negative tell me it opens downward, the 2, since this number is a number larger than 1, tells me that it is going to get skinny. And when I say skinny, it is compared to what it would look like if a equaled 1. And that's positive or -1. I also can look at my C value here, and the C value tells me that the y-intercept is at 24. So if I want to put that into coordinate form, I can also say 0, comma 24. After this, I can also factor this, in which case I would have my 2 out in front, and that's -2, because the whole point is I want my x squared to be alone, or in other words, I want to have an a value of 1. So I'm going to write this as x squared because my math type tends to have some issues. -2, so if I divide +2 by -2, that's going to be a -1x. And if I divide 24 by -2, that's going to give me -12. So now I'm going to factor this because this is where I want to think about where should my x values be. So if I create the x method, I have an a value now of 1, a c value of -12, and I have a b value, or yes, a b value of -1. So basically, I'm asking myself, what are the two numbers that would multiply together to -12 and add to -1? So this tells me one's a positive and one's a negative. I can start going through my list of 1 and 12, 6 and 2, and 3 and 4. Those are really my only options. So eventually, I will recognize that my options are going to be -4 and +3. So this will also tell me that the x-intercepts are going to have the opposite signs of those. So if it was x -4, I'm going to have one at 4, 0, and the other, if it's x +3, will be at -3, 0. I know all of these things about the general shape of my graph. I know that it is going to be an upside down U shape. It's going to be fairly skinny. I know that it's going to have a y-intercept all the way at 0, 24. And then I also, via factoring, can figure out that my two factors are going to have x -4 and x +3. And that's going to also tell me where the x-intercepts are. So with all of this basic information, I would know exactly what my graph is going to look like.